times, mostly on defense, but usually they didn't on offense. And then what happens? Twice on fourth down, and I don't have any problem with the idea of this, the philosophy, but they run fake punts twice to try to get back in the game, and the first one's from their 29-yard line down 14-0.
Yeah.
And they asked the punter to throw what was the equivalent of a 20-yard pass.
Right.
Because remember, he's, 15 yards deep?
He's 15 yards deep.
Okay, it's almost like a 25-yard pass, and it's just a little short.
Right.
Well, what do you expect?
And plus, the guys get, remember, those are kicking balls.
Yeah.
Those are not the balls that they get an opportunity to rough up.
Okay, and then they try again in obviously the other territory, on the other side of the 50, and they run it up the middle. The safety runs it. Darian Thompson just runs it up the middle, and it didn't fool anybody.
No.
And I'm saying, you're just going to blow this. And then with 5:03 left, this is debatable, but they go for 2. And I said, I don't care if you make it, but you better make it.
Skip, they're saying the analytics are saying now that you go for it early so you have an opportunity to overcome it. I don't agree. Because now, Skip, at least, Skip, you kick the PAT. Now you're down 8. You know you need to. Because if you don't get it here, you're down 9. Yep. There's not a play that you can get 9 points. You can't score a touchdown and go for 3. So.
Okay. And the play they called was a slow developing toss to Zeke with action to the left and then toss right.
Right.
And he took the toss so deep in the backfield, it's blown apart because the Falcons have all night to get in position to cut him off at the pass. And they did. I just didn't like the play call.
I didn't like it either.
And finally, back to my defense. And you said they made a couple of stands and just held in the field. Off both the fake punts, they held in the field goal, which was a blessing. But they gave them 3 and gave them 3. But think about this. To your point about no turnovers, they only sacked Matt Ryan 1 time, and it came with 4 minutes left after they'd already allowed 39 points. And I said, Aldon Smith last week at Rams was a revelation. I couldn't find him yesterday.
Did he make him? He had an offsides.
He had an offsides, but he had 5 tackles, 2 solo, and no sacks, None
of the impact plays that we saw the opening night.
Nothing. So they could get little to no pressure on Matt Ryan. And he was throwing parties on the Dallas defense, which we expected that he would. We both thought it was going to be high scoring. I thought it was 38-35 Dallas. But here's the point about Dak Prescott. This is what I love and don't love about Dak Prescott. He is at his greatest when they are woefully behind. When they look like they're dead in the water, this man is a warrior. He will fight you to the death. Guess who led the NFL last year in second-half passing yards? Guess who led it? Dak Prescott. Why was that?
Because they always
were behind and behind and behind.
You're right.
Do you realize against Green Bay in that same stadium last year, he actually threw for more second-half yards than he did yesterday? 329 against Green Bay. Yesterday was 312. But still, for anybody to throw 300 yards passing in the second
Skip, you know what? You got to give them credit. Even though they fell behind by a lot, they still managed to get Zeke 22 carries. Zeke still got an opportunity. Yes.
And mainly because it was there. I mean, he didn't run for 150, but he still gouged them.
Yes.
And then the weirdest stat of the day, you ready for this one? This just blows me away. This sums up the whole day for me. You have 3 potential 1,000-yard receivers at wideout, and guess who the leading catcher was? 10 targets, 9 catches to the backup tight end, Dalton Schultz, who is playing only because
Blake Jarwin.
He's gone. As I call him, Shannon Jarwin is gone with an ACL for the whole year, suffered in the opener at the Rams. Dalton Schultz catches 9 passes for 88 yards, and to your point, it was just pitch and catch. They didn't really cover him because they're like, well, he's the backup tight end. And I'm not saying he crushed them, but he hurt them in the second half and he catch a touchdown.
Some key first downs. And that's the thing, Skip, is that when you get out to these big leads, you just like, okay, as long as we don't give up 1-play touchdowns or 2-play touchdowns, let's move. Okay, hey, we give you 5 yards here, we give you 6 yards there. Okay, you get a first down. But Dak, to his credit, I'm just going to take what you give me. I don't have to force anything. I don't have to be spectacular. And a lot of times, Skip, it takes the pressure off you. When you're already down, nobody expects you to come back and win the ball game anyway. So now you can just play free as opposed when the game is nip and tuck and there's expectations. But give Dak credit. He made some big-time throws. Guys stepped up and made plays for him. And that catch by Michael Gallup, Skip, I tweeted. I said, that's a catch. I said, his foot hit. Yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant the Amari one-hand.
No, I'm saying with Gallup.
Yeah,
his foot hit in his hand and his butt hit before he lands down outside. I said, that's a catch.
They gave it to him.
Yes, they should have.
Okay. I have to give kudos to my offensive line because remember, they lost Ty Smith at kickoff with some kind of neck injury that I wasn't looking for.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they have two undrafted kids at the tackles. They have to switch, what's his name, Terrence Steele.
Yeah.
He's undrafted rookie out of Texas Tech. He played right tackle. He switches to left tackle, and I think he did a pretty good job. I think so. And Brandon Knight, undrafted.
They put Knight at. I think they put Knight at left and put.
I think it was the other way around. I think they switched it over. I think so. That's what I was seeing. But Brandon Knight at right tackle, and they held up pretty well.
They did.
McKinney,
he hurt his groin, Skip.
And so he was gone.
He was gone first quarter. Yeah, because when you pair him, Grady Jarrett, and Dante Fowler, now all of a sudden, and Grady Jarrett was still doing big things. But give him credit, they did a great job. It gets rough rushing to the passer that many times, Skip, because you see guys all of a sudden they start putting them hands. That's the universal sign. If a guy puts his hand on his hip, don't let it fool you. Talk about he looking cool. No, he tired.
So the moment I thought maybe we have a chance, maybe it's meant to be today, was when Russell Gage, the other wide receiver, he throws a perfect pass to Julio at the goal line, if we could see this.
Yes.
And this is mid-third quarter. Yeah. And it's going to put them ahead 36-17, and it would have felt kind of over at that point. Yeah,
I believe it would have been over too.
And he just muffed it.
He short-armed it,
He just hits him right on target, right on the button, right on the hands, and he dropped it.
He never,
And furthermore, he goes down and stays down, and they're going to go for it because it's going to be 4th and 2 from the Cowboy 41.
Right.
So if they go for it and get a field goal out of it, but instead they end up with too many men on the field, and I think it's because he doesn't hustle off the field, okay?
Yeah.
And so they have to punt.
Punt it.
Knocks them back 5 yards, and I thought, uh-oh, I don't know, maybe we got a shot. And Dak drives them right down for a touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 29-24.
Right.
You've got a chance.
Got a chance.
Until the onside kick, and I thought, okay, that's it.
I still don't believe it. I mean, sometimes, the difference between truth and fiction is fiction has to make sense. Skip, this doesn't make any sense.
Nothing makes sense.
This doesn't make sense.
The box score doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing about this day made sense.
And like you said, because of the Falcons' epic collapse, we would have been out here this morning. Yes, we'd have been talking about the loss, but we'd have been talking about those boneheaded plays that Mike McCarthy made.
I agree.
Because I believe he made some egregious errors that helped the Falcons win this ball game. But because they came back, Dak played well, and everybody played offensively, they played well. Defense, when they needed to bow their back, make them settle for field goals, they did that. So they let him off the hook. But, Skip, I'm not so sure you guys are quite out of the woods yet. There's some things that I know you see that I see, especially defensively, that I don't like. Well,
all they have to do now is go to Seattle and deal with Russell Wilson.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that.